What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dan Robert coming to you with a new series called It's Debatable, and I will be focusing on the game of basketball, mainly the National Basketball Association. Coming off a very interesting season, we are going to be jumping straight into the heat of the NBA playoffs, where we will see superstars' abilities showcased to us every night. I'm also wondering which of the young cats are going to make a name for themselves. Guys like Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, who hasn't been to the playoffs yet. A lot of the young guys under the age of 25 who are going to put themselves amongst the top 10. It's going to be interesting to see, but I'm also wondering who's going to take the crown, who's going to put themselves above everybody else. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference playoff matchups that are already set. We got the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks, and we got the New York Knicks versus the Atlanta Hawks. Let's dive into the Heat and the Bucks first. The Heat bounced the Bucks in 5 games last year, put the clamps on Giannis, made Middleton be the best player on the team, and that's been the formula for the Bucks in the past couple seasons. You know, Giannis has folded when it's mattered most, but I think the addition of Jrue Holiday has actually enhanced the Bucks' chances to reach the finals. I will say this about the Heat. I am a biased Heat fan, so I'm not going to tell you what I actually think is going to happen, because that's my biased opinion. But my opinion on what I think is going to happen, I think the Bucks will close this out in 6 games. And I'm saying that because of the addition of Jrue Holiday, and if Mike Budenholzer coaches them right, I think they have a very scary 5-man lineup where they put Giannis at the 5, put Bobby Portis or PJ Tucker at the 4, and then you have Middleton and Holiday be your isolation wing scorers, and have Holiday play make, screen and roll with Giannis, have shooters like Brent Forbes or Dante DiVincenzo coming off the bench, hit at least 2 to 3 threes a game that makes an impact, especially in playoff series. For the Heat can pull this off, but it will be difficult because we lost defenders like Jay Crowder, who played good defense on Giannis last season. Bam's going to have to take a heavy load of that defensive pressure on Giannis. And, we can't really put Jimmy Butler on Giannis because he's too small. He can play defense, but we're going to have to put him on Holiday or Middleton. So, it's going to be difficult for the Heat and to really match up in a way because of the addition of Holiday, who brings a lot more defensively and offensively than Eric Bledsoe. Bledsoe in the playoffs was limited on the wings. So Eric Spoelstra, who is a very dynamic coach, he's proven he's going to have to put up a perfect scheme to, really make it tough for the Bucks, because we are a smaller team this year. We lost guys like Kelly Olynyk, Myers Leonard, and it's not like they were shot blockers, but they brought some type of size, to hinder Giannis from coming into the paint. So it's going to be interesting, the very interesting series. I think it's going to go 6 games, but I think the Bucks will eventually, get the win just because of the fact of, the addition, as I said, of Jrue Holiday. Now going into the Knicks and the Atlanta Hawks. Now the Knicks, I think, will win the series in 5 games. I think it's going to be a short series because I think defensively the pressure that they will be able to put on Trae Young is going to, force the Hawks to make certain adjustments that, I don't know if some of the players that they have are necessarily experienced to adjust to the defensive pressure of the New York Knicks. Now, don't get me wrong, Nate McMillan, big time coach ever since he got to the Hawks as the starting head coach. They were 25-11. But Thibs is also, one of the top defensive coaches, and has New York playing the best defense in basketball. And I think come time of the series that Julius Randle is the best player on that floor. With his mid-range turnaround, with him shooting 40% from 3, with him averaging 6 assists. You got RJ Barrett shooting 40% from 3. You got Derrick Rose shooting lights out. I think he was a major addition for that team in the second half of the season. I also think in the playoffs for the Knicks, because they're younger, Rose will be able to slow down and control the pace for that team when, they're struggling one night, maybe, the lid's on the basket and it's hard for them to get buckets. Derrick Rose can make it easier for guys like RJ, Julius Randle, play the pick and pop with certain guys, or pick and roll with Nerlens Noel, who's playing great defense for them, who also can catch lobs, and he can, cause problems in the paint for teams on offense. So, I think that's going to be an interesting series, but I also think, the Knicks can close that out, with, the pressure that's going to be on them. They haven't been into the playoffs in 8 years, but as they know that their fans want to see them win a series, and so they're going to feel pressure to win this series, and because the Hawks are a good team, but they should beat the Atlanta Hawks. And then we got the 2 top teams at the East, which are Brooklyn and Philadelphia. We don't necessarily know who they're going to play yet because the play-in, but I think we all believe that Joel Embiid and the Sixers and Durant, Kyrie, and Harden and the Nets will should easily win those series. Whoever they play. I think for the Nets, the thing about them is they really have to find a way to just get more chemistry. But the 8 games they played, I believe they were 6-2. Dynamic offense, dynamic ball handlers. I believe they have the best player in basketball in Kevin Durant. I just think he does everything better than a lot of players, and I just think his scoring impact, and he also plays elite defense. He can pass the ball, he can rebound. He's just a walking mismatch. He can shoot from 40, he can post up a center, he can guard a point guard on the wing, he can drop down and guard a center, so he can do everything on offense, and he also can do a lot of things on defense that a lot of players can't do. Now, yes, there's players like LeBron James and Giannis and all these other players who are superstars who will say something about it, but in my opinion that Kevin Durant is the best player in basketball when he's healthy. I think Kyrie and Harden, we saw them when KD was out, they were mixing perfectly. James Harden going for 30-point triple-doubles, Kyrie was scoring 30, so I think they got it, but I want to see how each 3 of those guys are going to gel, and also having guys like Joe Harris picking up Mike James in the free agency, was big for them. Coming off, they signed him to 2 10-day contracts. He played great, and now they gave him a deal for the rest of the season. You got guys like Joe Harris, lights out shooter. I want to see how they're going to mix guys in like that, and how they're going to be able to impact, those 3 and help them, go to a higher level. So, and last team that I want to talk about is the Philadelphia 76ers. I know a lot of people believe that they can maybe go to the finals, but I just don't see it because I just don't believe in Ben Simmons. He hasn't shown us that he has a jump shot. I don't care about him being able to average 10 assists and being a point guard of a team. How do you expect to advance when your point guard or your ball handler can't shoot a jump shot? So teams are going to drop off on him, and they have shooters like Danny Green and Seth Curry. And they also have a playmaker or, a guy who can score in Tobias Harris. But, I don't think he's a guy who's going to be able to run the offense necessarily. So I don't think they have a jump shooter who can actually run the offense, So Simmons has to prove he can shoot. And then I think they will be able to come out the East. But, I think Joel Embiid is going to have a heavy load of scoring on him. He's going to have to put up, going up against teams like Brooklyn, going up against teams like Milwaukee. He's going to have to put up 30 and 10, which he did all season, but I want to see how he does it in the playoffs. His conditioning in recent years has struggled in the playoffs. He's also been injured at times, So let's see how he does. But I believe he's going to have a big postseason, but I just don't trust Ben Simmons. I don't trust him because he just can't shoot. He can't even shoot a free throw, So he needs to get a jump shot before I even talk about that team winning the championship. If you all enjoyed this video, feel free to like and subscribe. Also, I'd love to see your opinions and predictions in the comments below. Let me know what you think is going to happen in these NBA playoffs. Peace.